Okay guys, so welcome to our alteration part. Okay, so I don't know, I'm thinking to use, okay, I can really use something that you can see. Okay, so for this part I've actually redesigned my neck. You can do whatever you want with yours. So the basic thing is that we are working on this part. Okay, so you can, before you do this, I always advise at times that you can actually add your allowance already, since we are cutting through um the front. So I can decide to add my half of an inch. You can, it's not a must, but at times I prefer to do it. So not that I please, the spirit leads you. Because this fashion designing thing, I tell people there's no big rule about it. All right, so as the spirit leads. All right, so you can decide to do that and leave it there. All right, so let's start our alteration. But of course, please extend your waistline back because we need that. So I just extended it back. So now we have our darts. We have the bust dart, we have this, and we have this. I'm going to cut into the line first. Okay, so having this, I can also decide to trim it. So I'm trimming it off on the allowance parts. The half an inch I added, so I've taken that off. Okay, so as soon as I've done that, now this is our waistline. Don't forget, I'm going to cut into the waistline. So I'll cut towards the end of the waistline. I'm not doing anything here. Like, you can add your allowances. I haven't added it yet. Okay, so, but like I always say, I strongly advise you add all these things. It's very necessary. So now I've cut into that line. Having cut into that line, oh sorry, I flipped that around. I want to now start closing all of these dots. Okay, so I will start here. Please just watch what I'm doing. I'm going to cut into this point. Okay. So I'll cut into that point because I want to close this dart. All right. And I will also cut into this point because I want to close this dart. But I'm going to cut it so that it will allow me walk. Okay. So I can use from here, or I can use from here, anyone you want. So I can also cut in from this point, but I'm not going to cut it out. I just cut it close to that point. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to close this. Why I did that cut was so it will allow me the flexibility of doing this. So I've closed the dart and I'll put that in there. Okay. So I'm going to also close my bust dart. So that is this other dart I did close, and I'm also going to close my bust dart. So it will just give me that bust look at that point. So that's it. It's going to give me like I have a bust there. So I've done that. So after that, you're also going to close this dart as well. So I'll just cut in to that point. And I'll also close it. So maybe try to keep, I'm doing this for a long dress, so it's So if you're doing it for a shorter dress, it's far easier. Alright. I can take that down. I have a bit of an excess. So that's it. So this, you can push it up. Let me just do that. So that's how that is staying. All right. So now I have turned it into the same that. So that's like me, a 3D like pattern, like me wearing it. Okay. So now we are going to slash and spread. Okay. So like I always say, for me, after this point, it's always better. That's what I do. I'll quickly add my allowances, because when I'm doing slash and spread, I don't like having too much excesses. When you do it, adds to your pattern. Okay, so now that I've trimmed it, it's easy for me to cut to where I want it to be, and it will relax. Okay, for me. All right. So now all my cutting is going to come from this tip. Okay. Now, if you want the belt to come from the waist, you're going to redirect all that, okay? But mine is coming from the center, okay? So I'll draw lines so that maybe you can follow what I am doing, okay? So my first line is going to come to this point, to my bust point, okay? So I'm going to have a cut to my bust point. I'm going to also have a cut to the end of my bust dart. Okay, this is my bust dart towards the end. Now all these things, I'm not cutting it totally out like it. I will just stop somewhere here. So I'll have a cut here, I'll have a cut here. So here too, I'm going to have a cut to this dart leg, this dart point that I had here, from the same corner. And all is starting from this waist point. So I've marked one here, I've marked one here. You can actually mark it all the way to this point. It doesn't really matter. It's how open you want it to be. And I'm going to take another one all the way from the same point all the way towards the end of this one, from the same point, okay? So you can have more. Can you see that? So you've seen all the lines I've marked. I've marked one coming here. I've done one coming here. I've done one coming here. I've done one coming here. So you can have more lines than that. So once I've done that, I'm transferring all the darts I have closed. You must always transfer them somewhere. So I'm using those darts to create, you know, the extension that I'm going to use to make the dress. Okay. So always note that you can't just close a dart. It must be transferred. So I am transferring that. It will now help the pattern relax. I'll be saying that. So already my pattern is relaxing, because it must relax for you to know that your pattern is correct. See? I now have a relaxed pattern. So same thing here. Don't cut it out. I didn't cut it totally out. I just stopped a bit before the edge. So I'm also going to transfer this dart here. This also relaxes. So have you seen? So my pattern is actually now relaxed. I just wanted you to see that. So sorry, I'm trying to adjust it for you to see what I have. All right. So that's it. So I have transferred all my darts, and this is what I have. Now, at this point, you now decide how wide you want your belt is. That will also determine how open. So we are going to, you can cut it, you can use it. Mine is enough to cover this space. So I'll just divide this into two. Okay. So I'm going to put this on the now, like I said, spreading this thing has to do with how wide you want your rope to be. So please, you're not like overspreading it. Just even at times I allow that cross if I don't want it to be too wide. I don't want the rope to be too wide, so I let that cross over itself. So I said gradually you know what you want. Okay, so like I said, I've spreaded it the way I want it to be. So once you do that, you can actually use your tape and start putting it down so that it stays. Okay guys, so now you can cut out this paper to whatever way. I told you that I'm spreading this as much as I want, because at the end of the day, when you're sewing, you're going to be folding it. So in as much as I've cut this paper to this width size, when I fold, this is the belt width I'm going to have. I'm just explaining so you have that in mind, so that if you cut a very tiny piece like from here to here, when you fold, this is just what you're going to have. So it depends on whatever you want it to be. Now this is what I want for myself. Okay, so because of determining what I want, I'm going to bring it in here. Please just watch closely and watch again, you will understand it. Okay guys, so see how I have placed it. I am just placing this paper here, you know, at this point. Watch it well, but make sure that you have enough space between here, between this your spread out and this your spread out. Okay, so you can push it right in whatever you want, but I'm just placing the paper there. So I'll stick it down. So can you see that? So that's what I've done. Then I'm going to, where I have this, right, I need to make like a V shape from this tip here. Okay, so I'm going to create a V shape, and like I had said also, if you want, you can actually see, in as much as I pasted this paper here, I can extend this line depending on where I want my V to be. So I've extended the line by 1/2 inch. I'll also extend this. You'd have as well shifted this there, but my paper is not long enough, so that's why I chose to do this. All right, so I will now create this like a V, all right, from where I have extended it to out to this point. Okay, where the where this ends. Sorry, I need to, that paper have gone. So have you seen what I'm having there, like a little V at that point? I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'll also create the same V. Make sure it's like of the same. You can check what you have. So this is like 1/2 inch. Make sure that the gap you're going to be working with is just so that it's the same. It's also 1/2 inch. All right, so I'll also create the V to that point. Right, this is what I have here. I'm drawing it out so that you can see. So that's what I have. You can actually make it deeper, you know, if you want. Like I can still go another 1/2 inch up if I want, okay, and still take it down to that my 1/2 inch. Do you understand? So it doesn't really matter how small or how, but I'm okay as it is, because you're still going to sew 1/2 inch off here even after putting this. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't really matter. So if you want to go right up, you go right up. If you want to leave it here, you leave it here. It's all fine. But I hope you have seen where I left it. Now, because I've already added my allowance, you know, I'm good. So now what we do is shape out. So this is how long my rope is, because I need to tie it all the way to the back. So you can make yours short if you just want it to stay at the front. Don't forget that we've already added a 1/2 inch allowance. So I'll just trim this on the line, and I'll also trim this out to that line. So I have that space left. So the same thing here. I'll trim this off. I'll trim this off, and then remember that I've already added my allowance, so I don't need all of this. Okay, so have you seen? That is what you're going to be having at that point. Okay, so like I said, if I choose to, I can still take this a bit up and So see, I've still created a little and made it a bit wider. You know, same thing here. I can just trim off a bit more. So that's what I have at that point. All right. So that's just it. So we have our front. Sorry, I need to trim this off. It's not part of this. All right. So this is what we have. So this is the rope. Now, like I said, the rope is long because I'm going to tie it. So I'm going to tie it from my front to my back, right? So if it is not this long, I'm not going to have the rope effect at the back. So if you don't also want it to be long, maybe just want it to stop at the front, please stop it here. So you just tie it here. Whatever you want is fine. So please do watch the video again, and you know, wherever is not clear, you can leave a comment for me in the comment section right below, and I will be right there to take all your questions. All right, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Show me some love and some encouragement. All right, so and also if you haven't turned on your notification, so click on that bell icon right there and turn on your notification, so when I upload easy to do videos like this, you know, you get to do it. So this is the cutting for this fitted waist rope dress, right, twist dress, and the sewing part will be coming right up. So I've been Nita, your physical and online instructor, and I'll be seeing you in the next class.